Joe Burrow, just disgusting. Not even just an ACL tear. I should correct that because it's an ACL, it's an MCL. There's more internal damage. Brutal loss. And just for the fan point of view, I'm not a Bengals fan, could care less about their team, but ultimately, as a football fan, you hate to see a rookie that was on pace for records, just dominating the game, looking so strong from the offset. Now having an injury that can and likely will linger into next year, they're saying, because of how much extra damage was done to that knee. Man, it's horrible. You hope for a speedy recovery. You hope to see him next year, but you also imagine they'll take their time and make sure they get this guy right. And you just hope you come back, he comes back and it's the same Joe Burrow. I think he will. Competitive guy, just that drive, that elite mentality that he's going to plow right through this. So I have faith in him. I'm confident that he will be bouncing back better than ever at some point next year. But you really just never know with an injury that was as gross and disgusting as that. And the extensive damage is brutal. Now, of course, the rest of the season implications fantasy-wise, it crushes Tee Higgins. I mean, so many of those balls that he was catching were so chemistry dependent, timing routes, putting the ball only where T can get it. Just brutal to see that rookie connection get cut short, because I love Tee Higgins. I love what he's doing, but you can't ever expect him to put up these same type of numbers with Ryan Finley throwing him the ball. God, come on. Disgusting. The same idea with Tyler Boyd, although more of his game's about separating smooth routes, run after the catch. So I doubt he'll be quite as impacted as a guy like T, but still certainly takes a significant downgrade on an offense that was leading the league in pass attempts, moving with a good pace. You can't imagine any of that to proceed the same way. We ought to have Joe Mixon on IR. So Gio Bernard, feature back behind a Ryan fucking Finley offense. Who gives a shit? It's just none of these guys are going to be starts for me, maybe in the most generous of matchups, but probably not the rest of the season. So, of course, crushing on the real-life perspective, you hope for a speedy recovery for Joe Burrow. Definitely more important than any fantasy implications, but the fantasy implications are also extremely negative with no real backup there to Burrow that can sustain and keep these boats afloat.